There's something remarkable about growing food, something that connects us to the earth even as the seasons change. But when winter arrives, our options narrow, leaving us to wonder, can we still nurture life when the world outside goes cold and barren? Today, at Buckeye Bloomstead, we're diving into the world of indoor gardening, showing you how to bring fresh homegrown food into your home, even in the dead of winter. We are proof that it can be done, and we will show you video footage of us doing exactly that, growing food indoors during winter. Thank you for joining us today as we share this latest video on indoor gardening, growing fresh food during winter. Now, before we dive in, if you're not already subscribed, would you do us a solid and hit that subscribe button? Please know that Buckeye Bloomstead is a small channel in a big field of gardening and homesteading creators, and each like, share, and subscribe tells YouTube that our videos bring value to our viewers. It truly helps us keep going and allows us to continue sharing these tips and projects with you. We don't have a big production team, just little old me putting it all together one video at a time. My name is Debbie, and I want to thank you in advance for being here with me today, for supporting Buckeye Bloomstead, and for being part of this growing community. Okay, now on with the video. Why indoor gardening? Indoor gardening isn't just about having fresh greens on hand. It's about resilience, sustainability, and self-reliance. With a little bit of space, the right equipment, and a touch of patience, you can grow herbs, leafy greens, and even vegetables right at home. Imagine the satisfaction of harvesting fresh basil from your kitchen windowsill or adding homegrown lettuce to your winter salads. In this video, we'll explore the best plants for indoor growing, how to set up your indoor garden, and for those looking to take it a step further, a peek into hydroponics. Starting an indoor garden may seem daunting, but all it takes are a few basics. First, consider light. Plants need plenty of it, and in winter, natural light is in short supply. For many indoor gardeners, grow lights are essential. They provide the light intensity needed for photosynthesis, helping plants thrive indoors. Next, think about containers. Herbs and leafy greens don't need much space, so a small pot will do. But make sure these containers have proper drainage holes to prevent overwatering, a common pitfall in indoor gardening. And don't overlook soil quality. For indoor gardening, a well-draining potting mix with added organic matter provides the ideal foundation for your plant's roots to grow strong. Just like us, plants need a healthy environment, and this starts with good soil. Now, let's talk about choosing the best plants for indoor growing. Not all plants are suited for indoor life. Some, like tomatoes and peppers, require a bit more care and space, while others, like herbs and leafy greens, adapt beautifully. Start with basil, mint, or parsley for herbs, as they are hardy and respond well to indoor conditions. Leafy greens like spinach, lettuce, and kale also do well, offering nutrient-dense leaves that can be harvested continually. Each plant has its preferences, so give them the best conditions you can. Herbs love a warm, sunny spot, or if you have it, a bright grow light. Leafy greens are happy with cooler conditions and don't require intense light, making them an ideal choice for north-facing windowsills or lower light areas. By understanding each plant's needs, you're giving yourself the best shot at a thriving indoor garden. There are a few methods you may choose for growing your plants. One winter, we experimented in our basement, growing all sorts of plants. Everything from cherry tomatoes and a variety of herbs to even strawberries. Some of these plants we started from seeds, while others came from plant slips purchased from companies specializing in hydroponic supplies. In the next part of this video, I'll be sharing a clip I made some time ago showing how we grew veggies and herbs in our basement. I've left the original narration so you can follow along with exactly how we set everything up. While the video and audio quality may not be perfect, it should give you a clear idea of our indoor gardening process. Our channel originally started under the name Random Corner TV, hence why you will see the video indicate that name. I changed our channel name to Buckeye Bloomstead after recovering from a long battle with breast cancer. A very trying time for both me and my family, as you can imagine. Although I'm grateful to be in remission and considered cancer-free, the effects of my treatment have left me with some permanent health challenges. As a result, narrating my own videos has become more difficult than it once was. This next segment of footage was recorded before those changes, and I appreciate your understanding.
Okay guys, it's Debbie here. I've been asked several times about how the gardening in the basement was coming. For those of you that don't know me, that's me. In any case, this is going to be a little video to report how things are going. We are growing everything down here hydroponically, meaning water and fertilizer, no soil. I do have a couple plants down here that are in the soil, but most of what we are growing is actually just in water. And this has been going on for, I think December I planted it. Started with little 2-inch slips. Some of them I started from seed. Others I purchased from a company that started them for me just so I could get a head start on things. We got all sorts of stuff growing on here, from lettuce to cilantro, sage. We have a tomato plant down here towards the bottom, and if you're wondering what this is, I put up some vinyl fencing around our tower garden to keep the cat from getting in there. She likes her veggies and was having a field day with it, so I put that up just to keep her from getting up in there. But as you can see, we have chives, all sorts of various herbs and lettuces and Swiss chard and thyme's in there, and I think I have some rosemary somewhere. I actually have strawberries. As you can see the flower on there, the little blooms. I'm going to try to see if I can zoom in on that. Hard because these lights are really bright in my face. But anyways, we've got blooms on this these strawberries. A little bit of struggle with this particular plant. I think water might be a little too the lighting might be a little too intense, so I'm going to have to adjust that. But as you can see, everything has just grown beautifully. We are ready to harvest some of this stuff. And down here, I gotta squeeze back through here a second. Sorry for the close-up. Probably can't really see nothing. All of this is ready to go, but it's very lush, green, and healthy. We've been trimming, cutting on the cilantro, using it, and never was really successful growing cilantro outside. But it's done really well in here for us. And you can see the difference of what's happening. Although I have plenty of lighting, this is same herbs as what's in the tower garden, grown in soil, and they kind of look a little pathetic. I will probably remove them from this particular container and grow them hydroponically down here. This is I can't ever pronounce it, a flower that you actually can eat. The leaves are quite tasty in a salad, believe it or not, and that's what those are. On the bottom of that, you can also see the name of one of the companies that we bought our plants from, our little slips from. They've been great, and we will certainly buy from them again. We make no money off of promoting them, but they are a good company to deal with. Our aloe vera, it actually was another part of the basement, wasn't doing too well. I brought it over here to get it underneath the lights. And that is our lemongrass that we had outside. The cat really enjoyed this outside during the summer. She wouldn't leave it alone, so it's a little puny, but I cut it back and it should come back fine. This is some lettuce and a tomato plant that we actually have grown in soil, which is doing pretty good considering. It's getting more direct light, and that's probably why it's doing better than that other planter we have. It's still a little puny, and I'll show you the difference. This plant, lettuce, this is a romaine lettuce, was planted the same time this plant was planted. And this is just grown, there's some other lettuce there, in water. You see the root system there? There's the water solution. See how I have, normally the roots are very, very white and clear. looks like I'm starting to get a little bit of something going on here, but for the most part, the plants are growing beautifully, so I'm not too concerned about that. More herbs here. This is actually mint. Mint's very invasive, so if you ever plant it outside, you probably want to plant it in an area that you don't care if it spreads, or into a pot would probably be even better. Here's our tomato plant. I am having some issues with curling on the leaves. I've changed out the solution, adjusted the lighting. We're going to see if that corrects itself. This plant actually was growing in with this one. You can see I took it out of there. Every time you use any kind of hydroponic system, you got to make sure that light cannot get to your water source. If it does, you're going to grow algae, and the plant's going to have to compete for the nutrients in the water, so that's not good. So you want to make sure that anytime you're growing in this manner that you cover it up so the algae cannot get to the plants. That is why you see that I've painted these black buckets. I picked these up at a local bakery free of charge. They were white, and I just slapped on some black paint. So back to this tomato plant. This tomato plant was growing in that bucket. I started having a lot of issues with curling. You see some damage here. So I got me this 44-gallon Brute trash can. If you decide to go this route, be advised there's two different types of trash can that Brute makes. I mean, you can use other trash can manufacturers, but this one is particularly made for food safe products. It's food safe, so that's why I chose this one. I didn't want to have to worry about chemicals leaching into my tomato plants. If it leaches into the plant, it leaches into the fruit. So I transplanted this yesterday in this whole bucket lifts out. You won't be able to see the roots quite yet because I just transplanted it, but it sits down in some water. Now, there's plenty of videos on YouTube how to do this. You have to be careful that you don't drown your plants, so there's only a certain level that you go to allow the leaves to breathe. And so I'm hoping that this plant recovers. I still may have some cropping I need to do on it. Pretty sure I might as well go ahead and cut that off today and see if it recovers. So I'm thinking that maybe it just needed a deeper well of water, and that's what the problem was. So that is it for the update on the garden. You can see it works. You know, this is in a basement. It's not heated. Of course, it's not real cold down here anyways. I take that back. It's not that it's not heated. We do have one little vent that comes off of our furnace, but it takes the chill off the room, but it's ideal for the plants. And these lights I got are just cheap fluorescent lights, believe it or not. I did get some better quality full spectrum lights that you see up here, and they were still cheaper than some of them on the market. So you don't have to have the real expensive lights to get the job done. Yesterday I adjusted my lighting. I put this lighting above. It was on the side here, like you see on this light, but I noticed that my leaves, the tips were starting to burn a little, and although it doesn't emit a lot of heat, it still, I guess, was a little too intense for the plant. So this is our setup for down here in the basement. You can see it's coming along. You know, it's not bad in a crisis. If you for some reason didn't have the room outside or couldn't grow outside because of the season, this proves that you can do it indoors. I do have blooms on this. If you look down in here, on this tomato plant right there. Let's see if you can see it. So I'm expecting cherry tomatoes on that if all goes well. So if you have any questions, feel free to get a hold of me. I'll be happy to help.
All right, now that you've seen our indoor garden setup, what do you think? Before we wrap up this video, there are a couple more things worth mentioning, so stick around. And let me know in the comments below, what did you think of our setup? And are you planning to start an indoor garden of your own? For those who are serious about indoor gardening, a grow light is essential. In winter, natural light just doesn't provide enough intensity or duration for plants to photosynthesize fully. There are many types of grow lights, from fluorescent to LED, and each has its pros and cons. LED lights are a great choice for the home gardener. Efficient, long-lasting, and customizable. Hang your grow light about 12 to 18 inches above your plants, adjusting based on their response. Too close and the plants may scorch. Too far and they'll stretch, seeking more light. Aim for about 12 to 16 hours of light a day to keep your plants healthy and growing. Investing in a timer can make this process effortless, automatically mimicking the natural daylight plants need. We set our light system up with timers so we could ensure our plants received all the light they needed. Feel free to rewind back to the segment of this video of our indoor basement garden as a guide on how we used our plant lights. We sought out purchasing full-spectrum lighting that were LEDs so they burned cool and were economic for us to use. I will put a link on the lighting we purchased in the video description below and in our channel description. Although there are many grow lights to choose from, we purchased what we thought would work best for us, and indeed, they did. Equally important is the issue of water and humidity. Indoor environments can be dry, especially with heating systems running. This lack of humidity can be challenging for plants, particularly leafy greens. Consider a small humidifier nearby or mist your plants occasionally to keep moisture levels up. We noticed that with our hydroponic system, by nature the issue of humidity was not so much an issue as it was with those plants grown just in regular soil. And obviously, with a hydroponic system, the lack of water was also not an issue. The most important thing is when using these systems that you do not allow your water to run dry. For those plants growing in soil, watering is very important. But be cautious with watering. Indoor plants don't dry out as quickly as outdoor ones, and overwatering is one of the most common mistakes in indoor gardening. It is important to allow the soil surface to dry slightly before watering again, and remember that some plants, like succulents, need very little water during winter. It's all about finding a balance that keeps your plants happy without risking root rot. It's also a good practice to have a small fan set on a low setting to ensure proper air circulation. Like in nature, the presence of a gentle breeze helps tender shoots develop strong stems as they grow stronger in response to the slight resistance. Air circulation is essential for indoor plants as it helps prevent issues like mold and pests that can arise in stagnant air. Just remember, we're not aiming for gale force winds here. Set the fan on low or medium at most so that the gentle airflow reaches your plants without overwhelming them. A light, consistent breeze is all you need to keep your plants happy and healthy. So, as we have shown you earlier, there are lots of advantages to growing an indoor herb and vegetable garden hydroponically. Remember, for those looking to grow more robust crops or experiment with innovative methods, hydroponic gardening offers an exciting alternative. With hydroponics, plants grow in a nutrient-rich water solution rather than soil, allowing them to absorb nutrients directly from the water. In our basement setup with our hydroponics, you could see during that segment that we had great success growing hydroponically. The method is straightforward. Plant roots are suspended in water, which is circulated and oxygenated, allowing herbs, lettuces, and greens to thrive, often growing faster than they would in soil. I've used a garden tower, along with food-grade buckets collected from a local bakery, and even experimented with a 55-gallon trash can. You don't need fancy garden towers to get started, but they're certainly convenient. In fact, you can make your own hydroponic tower out of PVC. Let me know in the comments if you'd be interested in a future video on creating a DIY hydroponic garden tower. Meanwhile, I'll provide links to some of the systems and setups we've used. With hydroponics, you can use buckets, totes, or similar containers, which makes it flexible and adaptable. Although hydroponics requires an initial investment in equipment, it offers unparalleled control over plant growth conditions. With a proper setup, you can grow year-round, not just in winter. without concerns about pests, soil quality, air pollution, animals, or other issues that can affect outdoor gardens. The size of your indoor garden depends on the space you have available, but for those with limited outdoor access, hydroponics is a powerful tool in the indoor gardener's arsenal. Now, there is yet another system that can be used and is slightly different than the hydroponic system. One of the unique aspects of hydroponics is that it usually involves a lot of components: pumps, wicks, air stones, and of course, the electricity to run it all. While I enjoy this hands-on aspect of hydroponic systems, sometimes keeping it simple has its own appeal. That's where the Kratky method truly shines. It's a way to grow hydroponically without any need for electricity, pumps, or wicks. With the Kratky, in fact, you won't even need to change the nutrient solution, or generally not need to add more during the plant's growth cycle. Yes, you heard right. This method offers a nearly hands-off approach to growing that's as simple as it gets, making it a great option for anyone wanting to try hydroponics with minimal effort. It is true that this approach eliminates the need for a water pump, relying instead on a passive system that supplies nutrients directly to the plants as they grow. Here's how it works. Plant roots are suspended in a nutrient-rich solution, and as the plants take up water and nutrients, the solution level gradually drops. This exposes the upper portion of the roots to air, providing the necessary oxygen for root health without requiring aeration. It's a low-maintenance method that's ideal for growing leafy greens and herbs, particularly if you're looking for a set-it-and-forget-it approach to indoor gardening. The importance of nutrients in the Kratky method. As I touched on moments ago, one of the most essential elements of any hydroponic system, including the Kratky method, is the nutrient solution. Since hydroponics doesn't use soil, all nutrients must be delivered directly through the water. This means that the accuracy of your nutrient dilution is critical to the health of your plants. If the nutrient concentration is too strong, it can lead to a condition known as nutrient burn, where plants receive more nutrients than they can handle. You'll often see this in the form of browning or yellowing leaf edges, stunted growth, or even root damage. A solution that's too rich can also throw off the pH balance, making it harder for plants to absorb essential nutrients effectively. On the other hand, a solution that's too diluted won't provide enough nutrients, leading to nutrient deficiencies that cause plants to grow weak or pale. The key is to measure carefully, following the dilution instructions specific to your nutrient mix, and check the water's ppm, parts per million, using a ppm meter. This ensures your plants receive just the right balance of nutrients they need to thrive. With the Kratky method, where there's no circulation or regular replacement of the nutrient solution, achieving the right balance is even more critical. Starting with an accurately diluted solution sets the stage for healthy growth, and from there, the plants can take care of themselves in this low-maintenance setup. Think of it as setting up the foundation for your plants to thrive. Get it right from the start, and you'll see the benefits in robust, healthy growth. We found great success with the Kratky method, especially for short-term crops like lettuce, basil, and other small greens. However, we did notice that over time, the lack of a water pump in this system did impact the root health with some of our longer-term plants. There are a few factors that could have caused this issue, but overall, this method was very successful for us, and it was beyond easy to set up. We will continue to use this system in the future. Not having to use a water pump with the Kratky system, as we do in our garden tower and other hydroponic systems, makes this method especially appealing. It helps keep our utility bill down, which is important given our budget considerations. While using a water pump is still financially feasible, we prefer to be mindful of our utility expenses. In a system like the garden tower, the water pump plays a crucial role. It circulates the nutrient solution, providing consistent oxygenation to the roots. This circulation promotes a healthier root system overall, especially as the plants mature. For us, it made a noticeable difference in long-term plant health. Overall, we feel the Kratky method is an excellent option if you're just starting with hydroponics or looking for a low-cost way to grow food indoors with minimal equipment. We have about come to the end of this video. We hope you have found the information in this video of value. indoor gardening can be a lot of fun, and growing your own food is rewarding. With this being said, indoor gardening isn't without its challenges. From leggy growth due to insufficient light, to yellowing leaves from overwatering, each issue tells a story. If you notice leggy growth, your plant may need more light. Yellowing leaves, that could mean it's time to ease up on watering. Indoor pests, like aphids, can also appear. A simple soapy water spray often does the trick. Remember, plants are resilient, and most issues can be corrected with small adjustments. Part of the joy in gardening is learning to respond to these signals, improving your skills and your plant's health along the way. Indoor gardening lets us bring a bit of nature indoors, even as winter casts its cold blanket outside. With a few essentials, some creativity, and a bit of care, you can enjoy fresh food and greenery right at home all season long. Thank you for joining us at Buckeye Bloomstead. We hope this guide to indoor gardening inspires you to try it for yourself. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more gardening tips, DIY projects, and homesteading wisdom. Until next time, happy growing, and may your home be as green as your thumb.